Welcome. My name is John Wallachy, and today we're going to cover the Call for Code 2020 themes and starter kits. So welcome, everyone. I wanted to first introduce myself. My name is John Wallachy. I am an IBM developer advocate. I love to mentor at hackathons and teach workshops. I write tutorials and record webinars. I love to inspire developers and students to build with IBM Cloud and IBM Watson AI services and really make their projects come to life. I have with me today Derek Tay, and I'll let Derek say a few words about himself.
Hey, John, thanks very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Derek TA, and I am the lead developer advocate on Call for Code, Code and Response, and strategic projects. So a lot of what I do is similar to what John does. I enable developers, university students, pretty much anyone that wants to do something with Call for Code. I help bring their projects to life as well. I have a different area of expertise than John. John's really, really good with IoT. I know, a little bit about it, but a lot of my expertise is in just our cloud services, Watson AI stuff as well. So I'm here with John to kind of talk about how we can get everyone engaged to work on this global challenge for 2020, focused on climate change, as well as focused on the COVID-19 challenge, which we'll talk a little bit about here coming up.
Let's talk about that, Derek. So this year, two themes. Usually it's one themed. In the last 2 years, it was natural disasters. But this is the third year of Call for Code. It's a $30 million 5-year tech for good global hackathon. And this year, our original plan was to run a whole theme around climate change. Really important topic that many of us are passionate about slowing and reversing. But in the last several months, the COVID-19 pandemic has really caused the world to pause. And so we have added a second track, a second challenge to Call for Code this year around the pandemic. And so these two themes are equal, and we're actually running in parallel the two different timelines. So Derek, do you want to talk about the timelines?
Yeah, so if you can see on the screen here that John's sharing, so we do have the climate change challenge that was the main track that we had for Call for Code 2020. That will run all the way until July 31st. But we added the COVID-19 track on March 20th. And so you'll see in the purplish timeline below that, it runs parallel to the regular Call for Code challenge on climate change. The difference is here, we're looking for early submissions for the COVID-19 challenge by April 27th. We know that's just less than 2 weeks from today. But if you have something at least that implements one Watson service that you can show that has a good story, you can submit by April 27th. And the top 3 solutions for COVID-19 will be announced at IBM Think 2020 on May 5th. If you don't have stuff ready by then, or you need more time, that's totally fine. You can still submit up until the final deadline of July 31st. So just to be very clear, April 27th are the early submissions for COVID-19 solutions. The top 3 will be featured at IBM Think 2020 on May 5th. But if you do not meet that deadline and you don't have the time to do it, and you need some more time to submit, July 31st is still totally fine for final submission deadlines. That's for both tracks, climate change and the COVID-19 track as well.
And so, Derek, what's the award at the end here? Some big money, right?
Yeah, big money. So on the overall Call for Code Global Challenge, the overall winner is looking at $200,000 from us, as well as long-term support from the Linux Foundation, implementation through our Code and Response program, which is a big differentiator for what we believe for us, because it's kind of like a startup incubator, right? So we don't want to just say, hey, here's the money, great, see ya, right? We want to take your idea because you won, right? We want to take your idea and we want to actually implement it with IBM resources. We get some of the best people from the IBM Service Corps from around the world to come and help implement your project. And this is something that I got to do for the last 2 years with Project Owl, our 2018 winner, and Prometeo, our 2019 winner. We get the best of IBM together to help with these solutions and actually make these deployable, implementable solutions. So it's definitely worth submitting to the
And
final
they
submission.
become great partnerships with those winners, right? Really working with them to bring them forward and make a difference and change the world.
Absolutely. Yep.
And our next steps, let's walk through the steps for how to join and how to get started and how to submit. Tell us about that, Derek.
Sure. So 4 easy steps to get started with this. The first part is accepting the challenge. So you can go to ibm.biz/cfc-2020. You can learn all about the details of the challenge. You can read the participation agreement, get started with an IBM Cloud account. Everything is there for you to get started, understand the technicalities and the specifics of our Call for Code Global Challenge. And then the next step is build with Open Tech, ibm.biz/start-coding. Tons of resources there for you, such as what we call code patterns, which are basically full architectural solutions that have architectural diagrams, an intro to what these are, full code available on GitHub as well. Many of them have an instant button that you can deploy directly to IBM Cloud. So I would take a look there. There's, on top of code patterns, there's videos about these topics that would be relevant and of interest, and as well as some other tutorials to kind of give you a jump start to build your own stuff. Maybe you already have an idea. Maybe you just want some ideas on how to implement your idea. Whatever you're looking for, that step is going to be pretty helpful with a ton of resources. Third step, finding your squad. So if you go to callforcode.org/Slack, it's an auto inviter to our Call for Code Slack workspace. And you'll be able to look for teammates if you need some teammates. Maybe you're a developer that's looking for, maybe you're a back-end developer looking for someone that's a front-end person, or vice versa. Or, maybe you have maybe you're not a technical person and you want to link up with a technical team and provide some insight. Whatever you're looking for, you can find teammates there. You can find experts there as well, like John and myself. We're always in there answering questions. A couple of our other coworkers are in there very, very frequently to answer your questions. Or you can also share some of your ideas. If you want to run by some of your ideas and kind of just get a sanity check on it, you can do that as well. And then the last step would be submitting your idea. When you have that all done, callforcode.org/submit. Like we talked about, this is where if you are the finalist, you win $200,000 implementation from our Code and Response Initiative and long-term support from the Linux Foundation. So if you really want to see your idea come to life and you have gone through all of this stuff and you think you have a really, really good solution, please make sure you submit it. Make sure you submit it with all the relevant information we need. Make sure you have a GitHub that's available that we can see all this code. Everything will be talked about on callforcode.org/submit. But pretty easy steps, everything from getting you started to finding all the resources and help you need to submitting your idea. 4 pretty simple steps, all with the links right here. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was the academic initiative here. So ibm.com/academic. For those of you with an academic email address, remember that after the hackathon, that there's a wealth of IBM assets and offerings to take advantage of. So these can all be found on the IBM Academic Initiative page. It's a self-service program that provides students and faculty at accredited academic institutions with access to select IBM resources at no charge for classroom and non-commercial research purposes. Just go to ibm.com/academic and register there. Then you can use IBM tools for your student projects, lab work, research, or for just finding out more on emerging technologies from AI to data science, all the way through to quantum. So please go and take a look. It's there and it's available for you.
Great set of resources.
Absolutely.
I thought next we would talk about starter kits, because that's a great way to come up to speed really quickly. Maybe you've got an idea, you've got a team, you want to run with it really fast. Remember the April 27th deadline or the July 31st deadline. Don't stop. Keep going. Others are eager to join because they see how important these 2 challenges are, but need some help on what types of ideas might be successful. And so what we did, we assembled a set of experts. We came together, we thought through what a starter kit in these particular themes might be. And then we described what a problem statement. We talked with experts in the field. We brought them to several events, lots of interviews, And then we started to build a solution using a set of technologies. We described our solution. We built the architecture diagrams, and then we wrote tutorials with starter code, actually all open source, so that you'll be able to take advantage of that. Fork the code, start to build with the code, extend it in a way inside of your project, and then make your solution that much better. So you've got a set of data sets and additional documentation. You can come talk to us in the Slack workspace, engage with those experts, and really make it come to life. Let's go take a look at those 6 starter kits. So in the climate change the climate change challenge, we've got 3 starter kits: water sustainability, energy sustainability, disaster resilience. Water sustainability, this is a farm soil project. We take a personal weather station, so you've got hyper-local weather. We use and take advantage of the weather company and their seasonal forecast to build a weather model for that farm. We deploy a set of sensors out into the soil. We collect IoT temperature, humidity, soil water, moisture. We send that data to Watson IoT platform. We bring all of that together, and we can really showcase a crop forecast model. In the energy sustainability solution starter kit, we've got a climate rating service, so we can educate consumers on how they misuse energy and hopefully change their behavior. And then the last starter kit around disaster resilience, we built a mobile app with a chat bot, a database to really help a victim maybe that's affected by a flood. And so great set of starter kits. We're going to dive a little bit deeper in a couple of minutes. We'll take you out to those web pages and we'll go take a look at those solutions. We're very clever. Let's talk about the COVID-19 challenge. And in the COVID-19 challenge, we have 3 starter kits. We're all home, right? Sheltering in place. My 2 daughters back from college, they would much prefer to be on campus, but we're going to work through it and hopefully social distance. I know many of you would prefer to be on campus as well, but use your time to join us in Call for Code and maybe build a solution for the pandemic. We've got 3 starter kits. So crisis communications, we've got our remote education starter kit and a community cooperation starter kit. Crisis communications clearly want to disseminate trusted information to users, right? So build a chatbot. We'll show you how to do that. Remote education, we want to improve the remote education educator. And that remote educator wants to very often teach, use a whole set of online resources. And Derek will teach us about his starter kit and his team. And last, we have our community cooperation starter kit, which is a supply chain. Who's got masks? Who has medical supplies? Who's got supplies in your neighborhood? And so a combination of an app and a chatbot and a database and a backend. So a very clever starter kit there. One level deeper, right? So how did we build the crisis communications starter kit? And so we took a set of Watson technologies. So IBM Watson Assistant, Watson speech to text and text to speech. We built a chatbot, and then we integrated it with voice, with Slack, on the web, and we show you how to do that as a set of tutorials. In the remote education scenario, we built a set of microservices for education. We showed you how to build a remote classroom experience, and then we embed those microservices in an app that you might want to use as part of your education for transcription. So record your lecture and send that to a transcription service, get back the class notes. We also know that educators need to quiz their students. And so we built a quiz app with Loopback. And last, in the community cooperation track, we took advantage of location data, and we show you how to build a supply chain database. We encourage everyone to join the fight and really help us slow the pandemic. Let's go take a look at some of the code, because I think that's what everyone is interested in. And so first thing, I want to remind everyone, all of our starter kits are available in GitHub, open source, for you to inspect, to fork, to build upon, to incorporate into your project. And so jump up to github.com/call-for-code and drill down and take our code. Visit developer.ibm.com/call-for-code, and you'll find a whole landing page of resources. The starter kits, obviously, are what we're talking about today. So in the climate change starter kits, there's a set of videos and resources. We're going to talk about water sustainability, energy sustainability, and disaster resilience. Let's go take a look at those. So in the water sustainability starter kit, remember I told you about that farm and that subsistence farmer who wants to improve the yield when climate change is really affecting his crops and his soil and the water. So we put together a couple of different tutorials. So the first one is about IoT sensors, collecting data from that farm, the temperature, humidity, the soil, all of that you might collect from the dirt, and send that to IoT platform. And so we've got a set of instructions on how to do that with IBM Cloud. And then we want to take our weather forecast. So we show you how to build a personal weather station. Maybe it's a farm weather station plus the seasonal forecasts. And we show you how to build a dashboard and a weather model in that starter kit. In the energy sustainability starter kit, we want to educate consumers to be more efficient with their consumption of energy. And so part of that is knowledge. When you know more about how you consume energy, you might change your behaviors. And so what this team did was they built a climate impact rating system. And so it's an app plus a backend database, which you can now use to educate someone on their consumption of energy in their home, in their industry, and hopefully change their behavior to be more efficient and consume less. Our last starter kit in the climate change scenario is about flooding. And so how do we help that flood victim through that natural disaster? And the team here built a mobile app plus a chatbot, and they were really clever in their use of a backend to supply the proper information, a chatbot to make that interaction with the user through the mobile app really successful. We show you a video and some resources on how they built it. So really take advantage of that. The architecture is pretty straightforward. Oh, one interesting thing about this particular solution, in a flood, you really need to know where you are to get the best help. And so they pulled in an open API from here around mapping. So quite interesting. Let's jump over to the COVID-19 challenge and the starter kits we have. So visit developer.ibm.com/call-for-code, get started COVID-19. And we even have Lady Gaga helping us send out the word to developers around the world. Hopefully you caught her message and are ready and willing to accept the challenge. We have a timeline, which Derek earlier took you through. And then, of course, we talk about our starter kits. which we're going to go take a look at now. So the starter kits, let's jump up to the first one. So the first one is a crisis communications starter kit. And we wanted to build a chat bot that can answer questions about COVID-19. And so we want to disseminate trusted information, lessen the fake news, and also provide relevant and useful information back to the user. Now, when you build a chatbot, you've got a lot of choices. So we first embedded the chatbot on a website, and then we integrated that chatbot in a Slack workspace. And then last, we voice enabled the chatbot using Node-RED so you can talk to it. And of course, we do have architecture diagrams. Let's go drill down into one of them. Here we've got a user. He's going to interact, or she's going to interact on a web page, and maybe in the lower right corner, you've got a little chat icon. Click on it, and you start to have a conversation with our chat, and you can ask it with natural language a question. What is COVID-19? How can I get help? I'm feeling sick. Can I get it from my dog? How many people are infected? Those questions are sourced from the CDC FAQs. So we use a trusted data source to really populate our Q&A. And then we know that users want to interact with a chatbot and ask, what are the most recent news about COVID-19 in my neighborhood, in my community? And so we call out to Watson Discovery, which is a news aggregation service. And so it can return articles back to the chatbot and serve to the user a set of answers. And then last, you might want to know some statistics about infections and death rates and recovery, how many people have been tested. And so we call out using a webhook and IBM Cloud Functions, which is an OpenWhisk implementation, out to an external API, which you can query, get the data, and pass it back to the user. So a good use of Watson Assistant. We give you a set of annotations on how the flow works. We take that same architecture, we put it in front of or behind a chat experience inside Slack. And so we show you how to integrate the solution with Slack. And then we show you how to put Watson Assistant with Watson speech to text and text to speech, so you can voice enable your chatbot. And of course, in our tutorials, we take you through all the steps, how to build it, right? And go through each dialogue, what you might post in that particular dialogue, how to wire it all together. And we give you the code in our Git repository. So that covers the first track. Let's go to the next one, which is remote education.
Yeah, so I will take this, John, because this is something that my team worked on here. I'm going to screen share, although it says I can't screen share while you are sharing. So you could stop sharing, and then I will start my commentary. Great. So John, let me hop in here, and I think I can take this because this was something that my team worked on specifically. So we looked at how we could take remote education and make something great out of it. So again, John went over this page. To get to where we're going to talk about here, just click on remote education, and it will take you here. So I'm not going to go through and read the overview and the idea and everything here. You can take a look and see why we decided to come up with this and what we thought that we could do. But I'm going to quickly talk about the three solutions that came out of the remote education starter kit. The first one was a quiz app. So this was developed by Spencer Crum. It was his idea, really great idea. Basically, it allows a developer or anyone who wants to take this code to create a very simple quiz app that has a React front end. But all the code on the back end is generated by Loopback, which is pretty cool. If you're unfamiliar with Loopback, there is a replay where you can watch where we went through this in depth. John will share that in a little bit, the link to that where you can go and see this. But it's pretty incredible because Loopback allows you to take, it's a command line tool, and you just go through and you tell it you want to generate a model, and it mocks out all the APIs for you for all the operations on generating a quiz, generating the questions, updating, deleting, all the CRUD operations on that. It just generates it literally within about a minute. You have everything you need to do. It sets up a Swagger instance where you can go through and actually test out your API, and then you can link something like that pretty easily to a front end, which in this case was React. We have the tutorial for that. A little bit further down the page, it'll bring you to the tutorial. You're able to go through and see it. This is kind of what the app looks like. Again, very simple. It's meant to just be easy to create. You can put any front end on it that you want. But all the steps are here. The GitHub repo is listed here for you as well. So everything in here is ready to go, tells you start to finish how to get all this done. So definitely a great solution. We also have another solution created by Pedro Cruz and Daniel Cunnington that was a speech-to-text transcriber for videos. So basically, you might already have teachers that have videos on things that they need to, have their students watch. But not everyone learns best from videos, or maybe they want just the option to have that video transcribed into plain text so people can read it. So this service allows you to do that. You take a video. We, in the demo, use the Lady Gaga video that she talked about Call for Code and joining the challenge, and we process that through. But it could be anything. So you can upload anything. You'll get back a transcript of that. And optionally, you can also send it to Watson Translation. So if you have students that maybe learn better in another language, maybe you don't know that language, or maybe you just want to make something easily available for them, you can upload your video, have it transcribed, have it translated. Again, here's the architectural diagram for it. You have the tutorial as well. And as always, again, diagrams, instructions, GitHub code available for you. Please feel free to go through and change things if there's anything you want to update. Pedro has been keeping this up to date. Daniel's been keeping it up to date. And we've taken in some pull requests from people to update things. So please, we're not perfect. We're trying to build some great set of tools for you guys. And if we can enhance them and make them better, all the best, right? And then lastly, in the remote education piece, we have an ability to set up a skills network platform. So what that was kind of something I worked on. I wanted to find something that we could not only do for developers like we did with the other two solutions, but also create something that developers could use, but also teachers could use or schools could use, something maybe a little less techy, but that still provided a really good online learning management system. So we are offering our Skills Network platform free until November of 2022. So you have 2.5 years to implement and use this platform. And it's very easy if you want to learn about it. This interactive demo link here will take you to this learning platform. And it's pretty advanced what it can do. It's not only just, for courses and things. You can click here. There's a whole repository of courses that you can add. You can create your own custom content, which we have all kinds of documentation to show you how to do that. But this also integrates directly with Watson Assistant, like John was talking about earlier. This is a chatbot here that is all powered by Watson Assistant. So you're able to create something that has, answers to questions, resources, links, things of that nature, and that natively integrates here with the platform, which is pretty cool. You're able to create blog posts for things. You're able to create events. You're able to do competitions directly from this platform here as well. It's pretty advanced. And again, it's very easy to do. You're just going to fill out this form here that goes to us. Fill this out as completely and as accurately as you can. Goes to us here at IBM, and we will provision this for you and get you set up with an instance of the Skills Network platform. And it's pretty simple. And to give a really good example of what this is for, the Richmond Hill Art School, actually this was kind of a necessity for them with everything going on with COVID-19. They still wanted to deliver education to people. And so they took all of their content, and within less than 2 weeks of having nothing to what you see here now, this was all built out. They've put all of their courses in here with all the information that they need, calendar options as well. Everything is in here. So it's relatively limitless what you could want to do with it. If you want to set something up for, a grade school, high school, or anything in between, This gives you the ability to do that on our platform, integrating smart capabilities like virtual assistant and everything. So it's definitely pretty cool. I would encourage you to check that out. And that's pretty much it on the remote education starter kit. On this page, just like with all the other starter kits, we kind of talk about what technologies we use to create this and give you some more things for learning as well if you're more interested in Kubernetes or Docker, which is how the video transcriber service works. You can learn about that. If you want to play around with speech to text or language translation, you can do that as well. These are our official demos for these things. So we've given you a lot of resources to be able to play with these things and kind of come up with things on your own. John, I'll turn it back over to you to talk about the last COVID-19 starter kit.
Thank you, Derek. Let's wrap up with the Community Cooperation Starter Kit. And now remember, we want to show a community how to work together in connecting who's got what supplies. So tracking medical supplies or goods in your neighborhood, who needs a particular thing. Well, we built a supply chain app using a location service plus a mobile app. So we give you some mobile code, and the mobile code talks with, let's go drill into this and take a look at it. The user interacts with a mobile app, and it's running React Native. It's got location awareness, talks to a chatbot, which talks to IBM Cloud. And in that chatbot, the Node.js web server reaches out to a database of supplies. And so you can ask through the chatbot who has masks, who's got particular goods for you from the grocery store. Very useful source codes available in the tutorial. You can bring all of that together, Android, iOS. You can wire in the services. Maybe you extend it with blockchain. Maybe you extend it with a set of needs in your community. So a great chance to really build a starter kit for community cooperation. In our last section, we want to encourage everyone to, if you want to build one of these starter kits, you can actually listen to the experts, Pooja and Mofi and Daniel and Pedro and Spencer and Derek and I. Well, we recorded ourselves building all of the tutorial workshop steps in a set of videos. And so if you want to come and really listen to the experts do it, watch us do it, maybe that's a great way for you to learn step by step, go through it. So you can find us do all these replays, couple of hours of content, and really interesting. We've broken it down into a whole set of replays. Great opportunity for you to continue your learning journey with IBM Cloud and join the challenge against COVID-19. I encourage everyone, join the fight. Really great opportunity for you to help us and help the world reduce climate change and fight back against the pandemic.
Yeah, John, I think the set of tools that we went over were great. I'm super excited to see what comes out of this, what people create. Don't forget, everyone, that you're also able to find us. A lot of us are on Twitter. You can always find us in the Call for Code Slack channel for whatever help that you need. So utilize these resources that John and I have showed you. Take advantage of all the digital content that we have out there for you. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have questions, probably someone else could benefit from hearing your question and seeing it answered as well.
We've got a whole set of IBM experts ready and willing and eager to help you make your solution really awesome. And we would love to see you on stage in October holding up that $200,000 prize.
Absolutely.